I'm Dennis Mahato, amateur radio call sign AD6DM, and this is the Hamdom Thoughts podcast. This is a podcast about amateur radio, prepping, software, and tinkering. In this episode, I am rejoined by Charlie, November Juliet 7 Victor. Charlie is also known as Red Summit RF on YouTube, where he hosts the all-portable discussion zone and various other gear tests and summits on the air adventures. He's also well known for his tireless scaling of elevations. He's a Morse code master and even got his wife involved in radio adventures, and she's activating peaks as well. Let's catch up with Charlie today. Stay tuned. Hey, Charlie. Welcome to the show again. How's it going?
Hey, Dennis. It's going great. I feel like I need to call you Adam for some reason.
Adam, yes.
Because you remember your call signs.
Everyone does.
Everyone
calls me Adam. That's just how it goes, man.
I think I'm cured of it, though, now, finally.
Despite there being many more Adams that have shown up.
Yeah.
I'm
So
still
gosh,
Adam.
thanks for having me back, man. It's been a long time since inception, right?
Yep. It's been a while. I remember when I started out this podcast and you were like encouraging me. You're like, oh, that's great, man. Keep it up. And yeah. I had no more topics. I had 2 episodes down and I had no more topics. So I was like, well, maybe I should pull in some of my friends and do an interview. And for those of you in the audience who don't know, you were the first ever Hamdom Thoughts guest. And I'm just glad that your stuff has taken off, that you've been very active, and that you continue to produce things on YouTube. You have a podcast and all that. More than a year and a half later, here you are again. Welcome back, man. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to see you again too. It's been a while since I've had a chance to talk with you.
Yeah.
Even in the JerryNet, the JerryNet Slack group is kind of dead. Isn't it?
The JerryNet Slack group has become just kind of a dormant entity, but we still have spikes of activity every once in a while.
Yeah.
Someone will throw in a question or talk about some horrendous weather or something like that, and everyone will pile in again. But just thinking about the past, I'm thinking about all the guests that have been on the show, and there have been some that have totally just disappeared, like altogether.
Yeah.
I know that I interviewed one person last year, I think it was, and he managed to, how do I say this? He managed to get offended by everyone that we were involved with together.
Oh no.
And just dropped off the scene. And
yeah, it's hard to have staying power. I mean, aside from, having a thick skin and not getting offended with whatever, just being consistent and having the time to continue with your projects, it can be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Family is really important. You've got to make time for family, and sometimes.
If anyone should know, right now I've been off the air, quote unquote, not ham radio wise, but Hamdom Thoughts wise, for about 2 months now.
Yeah.
So the last episode was like in the beginning of January, and I took a vacation, so I kind of tweeted about that. I said, Hamdom Thoughts is on hiatus right now. And that's all it took. All it took was just one break for the whole momentum to be stopped.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I was into February already. I was like, oh, I haven't scheduled anything with anyone. I've reached out to people, but it hasn't really panned out. And here I am, no episodes for a month now, and then 6 weeks. I was like, oh man, I better get back into this. It's been a while. And then, even went on a few live streams. People asked, when's Hamdom Thoughts back again? And I was like,
Even at
Soon.
lunch today, I was talking to Dan and Brian at lunch, and Dan's like, When's he coming back?" And I'm just like, "Well, soon." But I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
It can be tough, right?
No, I mean, life happens. And
It
so
does.
for those of you out there who are in ham radio, or you have your projects, your endeavors, even if you want to go on YouTube or start a podcast or anything like that, just know that, yeah, it's okay. It's fine to go at your pace. And that's what a lot of the ham community has told me. Because I had questions that I put out there. I used to be every week. I can't imagine now how I did that.
Oh,
But
wow.
then
Yeah.
it became every 2 weeks. And then I was like, oh, I'm thinking about taking a little break here, maybe release every other week. And everyone said, hey, Dennis, just go at your own pace. Just
Yeah.
make it something that you like doing.
I agree with that 100%.
So,
yeah.
Which is a testament to you, because you are very active on YouTube. You're producing videos all the time. It seems like you're more passionate than ever at what you're doing. So I mean, there must be a fire there, or it's like what I was saying earlier, the momentum thing. You have a huge momentum going right now, and I hope that you never take a break. Personally.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, because I had a goal to scale back a little bit, and just put out a video once a month, and then do a live stream once a month, and so that was like an every other week thing. But it's been turning out to, yeah, about every week or so, and then sometimes they'll all be like all together. I'll have like 2 or 3 videos, and then I'll take a break for a week or whatever. But it's certainly a lot busier than I thought it was going to be. But there's just a lot out there. There's a lot for me that I want to share, and so as long as there is, I guess I'll keep doing it. As long as it doesn't interfere with family and stuff. I'm lucky because I'm an empty nester, and my wife is supportive and into ham radio a little bit now too. So it's a good time.
Yeah. A lot has happened since you were last on the show. So your YouTube channel, I remember when it was in the early stages, like a few hundred, and we're like, we got to get you up there, man.
Yeah.
And I started spamming your channel to everyone I knew, and everyone else in JerryNat was like, hey, check this out. Then you got picked up by the YouTubers bunch. Yeah. That kind of spiked your subscribership there, because everyone started realizing, hey, it's really cool watching this guy. We better get notified.
That was kind of Adam's doing.
Oh, really?
K6ARK approached me and says, hey, you got to hop in with this group. And I'm like, yeah, let me do it. Let me get in there while the getting's good.
Yeah, that was cool. And then you started the all portable discussion zone with APDZ. And that's your live stream with W7BET, is that right?
JET.
JET. And I had them on there, KC7 MSU, right? Yeah. And from there, all kinds of great discussions about operating remote, portable, in the field, lightweight, hacked together antennas, very tiny radios, different keys. Then you started a series on paddle reviews, which I thought was really cool. These portable paddles. It's not just any old heavy, 10-pound paddle, but you're reviewing these really tiny ones that you could take up on a mountain. Among those, I remember particularly the Bomma key. And
oh yeah, that's my favorite.
The stainless steel unbranded key. Those two stood out because I love keys that look hefty, like rugged looking, like they could take a beating. And those two in particular seemed like, they had the compromise between being weighty enough to be solid, but not so heavy that you're regretting taking them up with you on a peak.
Yeah, for sure. I like both of those. I think that the Bomma key is it's the Bomma Tech TP3. That one is kind of a more expensive portable paddle, but it's well worth the cost. It's my favorite of all of the ones I've reviewed. It's my favorite one. It just feels great. And then as far as a low end one, I think that's probably right there. The unbranded Chinese paddle. That's probably right there as far as a low end.
It's funny too, because I never saw that before, and I was like, wow, that one looks intricate. And then as soon as I looked for it, I saw it everywhere.
Everywhere, right? Yeah, it is everywhere.
There's so many of them, like so many copies of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So if anybody listening here, if you have a paddle that you'd like me to review, please let me know. I have, I don't know, probably 3 more in my arsenal coming up. And then if I don't have any more, then I'll probably start going to some home brews that I have in mind. I want to do some homebrew, make some, and then review the build, out on the field, like I do the other ones that you purchase. So it'll keep going for a while, but I'm always looking for other paddles that I don't know about. Of course, keep it to the portable type, right? Like you mentioned, I don't really do any of the ones that you set at home on.
Yep. I want you to do an activation with the Bama key, and then when you're done, you say, "Thanks, Bama key."
All right, I'll do it just for you, man.
I don't know if anyone got that. Cue the sad trombone. All right. Well, what else is going on with you? What you been up to lately?
Well, let's see. I'm always up to something, as my wife can attest to that. So the most recent thing was the QSO Today Expo. We had this Kumo space, they call it there, where we had people just dropping in, and it's really interesting lounge, they called it. It's kind of basically like what we're doing right now. It's kind of like a Zoom-ish type thing, except for much smaller video, and you can move around and talk to people if you're in their proximity to them. And it turned out great. We had a little section for Summits on the Air, and we had off and on a large number of people that we were interacting with. Steve WGOAT was in there, and Dan was KC7MSU, and a few others. Dan, who AI6XG, was helping out with that.
Oh, okay.
And it was cool. We had some good visitors. We had, who Julian is, right? Julian,
yes.
Who doesn't, right? OH8STN.
Mm-hmm.
He popped in, and it was like a unicorn spotting, right? We were able to talk to him. It was great.
Wow.
And Vince from VE6 LK from the Ham Radio Workbench was there for a bit. So that was fun. It was just kind of getting together with some people that we knew online and shooting the breeze with them. So there's that, and let's see what else. I just finished up my CW Ops Advanced class, and
oh wow,
yeah,
that's CW Ops 3.
I guess, I don't know. It's the last one they offer.
Okay, yeah, that's the one that people are telling me I need to take and get through the 30 words per minute or whatever it is, and yeah, that's I remember. Who was it? NN7M. Ryan was. He was in my class for the second CW Ops class. And then he was the guy that I was always like, that guy's so good. Why does he have to be so good? I feel horrible. I feel like I can't do anything. But he went on to be an instructor, and I interviewed him here.
Wow, that's
then
cool.
He was saying, yeah, you need to take 3. It will really help. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, that's awesome. So how was it? How was the advanced class?
Good. It was good. We had a good instructor, and the students that were there with me were all fun, and the instructor made it fun. So it was a good time. I missed probably more than I should have. I kept forgetting because it was, I don't know, I was out doing summits a lot of times. And so
you just missed classes because you were too active doing CW.
Yes. Doing other things, right? So I don't know. So I don't even know if I passed the class or not. I guess I'll see if a certificate comes, but I missed probably 4 or more classes. So I think the instructor at one point said he dropped me and then added me or something, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It's all, like we've talked about before, it's all about just getting exposure to CW, learning what you can. And, if I have to take it again, I will. So.
Wow. Well, I would think that you wouldn't have any problem in that class, but they do go pretty fast, I heard.
They do. It's and in that class they focus on head copy, so it is kind of a little harder than the intermediate was. So I was struggling a little bit. Yeah, I mean and
then you have to get a member to advocate for you, right? For you to become a CW Ops member.
Yeah, member, and I am actually.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I got nominated and I was able to get to work. I was up to 27 words a minute or more. At one point, you need to be at 25, and then I was nominated, and so I was inducted,
cool.
A lifetime member.
Nice. Yeah. What is it's called CWT, right? I just can't remember what the T means for their weekly like practice sprints.
It's just a test. It's a CW test, but it's more of a sprint.
Yeah.
That's what got me in. I was participating in that regularly, and man, those guys can fly. It's what is it? Wednesdays. They do it 3 times.
Isn't everything pretty much set up in software? So you're basically just hitting buttons and entering what you hear, but you're not actually sending at the whatever 45 words per minute that they're doing in there.
Well, some people do, but I was sending mine.
Okay.
I was sending about 27, and some do and some don't. I don't know if they have the capability, but I would imagine people are actually are sending that fast.
Yeah. In the initial classes I went to, we were encouraged to just try to be good with head copy and understand what the call signs and the names that we were hearing. And we would have, what is that software again? I already forgot. The software open where we would just send.
Is that Rough C?
No, it's the other one. The one that's logging as well.
Oh, what is that one? I can't remember.
It starts with an N.
N1MM?
Yeah, N1MM software. And then you'd get the call sign, you'd write it in, you'd write in the name, and then I think their op number if they had one, or what state they were in. And then you would just go to the next, and then you would submit the log from that to prove that you were part of the CWT. So I was like, well, if this is all just software and it's sending for me using a WinKeyer, then I feel a little bit ripped off.
Yeah, I feel
like I need to be, using my key and responding and stuff. But then when I first joined those CWTs, I was like, how are people sending this fast? Until someone explained to me that, that's computer generated for the most part. And
I didn't know that either. I thought that everybody was sending themselves, with their hand instead of with a computer.
Yeah, that would be impressive. I don't know if I'd want to send that fast. No one would understand me.
Yeah.
Have you ever encountered that on a SOTA activation where someone's just basically sending you RIDI? Manual RIDI where you can't understand it?
Yeah. There's a couple of people that actually chase me regularly. And after a while, I got used to the way this guy that was sending his call sign, and he would run together the first letter and the number, so I could never ever understand what he was saying because he never put a space in there. I finally figured out who he was and got used to his fist. So I still, if somebody else were to listen, they probably wouldn't be able to copy it either because he just ran his letters and numbers together. But for the most part, I'd just say just 1 or 2 people is all I've ever run into that way.
Mm-hmm. I've heard in some of your videos where they are actually, it's the opposite. They're like at 12 words per minute or something like that. And
I try to slow down for them.
You sit with them.
Yeah, I try to.
Sometimes you slow down as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to remember to do more spacing rather than slowing down. Sometimes slowing down's good, but I think most people who learn Morse code, they learn it with at a higher speed and this more spacing. And so I just need to. Sometimes I do turn down the speed, but I more often I should probably try to just space it out more because that's probably more helpful to people.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago, I was I fell into a SKS, the SKCC sprint. I was like, what is this? This is insane. And then the waterfall was full. And I was like, well, since it's so active, I might as well get it. But I don't have a straight key. And right now my rig is not set up for side swiping. So, my confession here, I just sent it with the electronic here.
Well,
just to make a contact with someone and test my ability. And I totally butchered it, even with the electronic keyer. So I need to pick up one of those J38s or one of those, straight key type desk keys.
Yeah, I just purchased my first straight key coming like a couple weeks ago. Never had one until then. So I got it from what was it? CW Morse, American made.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
So are you a quadruple mountain goat yet?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. When I interviewed you, you were triple mountain goat.
Oh wait, oh quadruple. No, I'm not quite. Sorry.
No? Okay.
No, triple. No, no. Why did I say why I got triple and quadruple mixed up? No, I'm not. Gosh, I'm at 3,400 right now.
Oh, okay.
So, so I've
Holy
been
cow.
going slower. It's not. It's all about the fun now instead of the points. So
Hmm. I would have been amazed if you cleared another mountain goat in the time
and if
since we've last talked.
yeah, that's insane. That's doable. A year and a half. Yeah, you could do it, but I've been going slower. So it's pretty normal. A year and a half to do it if you're
Okay.
committed.
If you're regular about it.
Yep. I mean, I still have a goal. I mean, I try to do 4 activations a month, and I met that goal last year. I missed it already this year, but by one. But I'm still going to try to make it. So, but it's not like every time I went out, I had to get three summits, and they had to be 10 pointers. I don't do that anymore. It's they're smaller and just whatever's fun.
So none of those power like multi-peak adventures that
Yeah,
K6RK does, like 24 hours and 12 peaks or something like that.
they're fun to do, but I really just enjoy sitting on the top of a mountain and spending more time trying to work people. It used to be where I'd only set 10 minutes max on 3 different bands, and then that what was like 30 minutes plus tear down and set up. So you're on the summit for probably less than an hour each time,
Hmm.
and I hit 3 or 4 summits in a day, and that was the goal. I don't like that anymore. I don't enjoy it. I just enjoy one summit, maybe two, and
Hmm.
just sitting up there and talking to a bunch of people or making contacts with them on CW. That's where it's at for me now.
Nice. Yeah. Slowing it down a bit.
Yeah, I'm so old.
I
Back in the day,
don't know
no.
about that.
Yeah, I'm not that old. I feel old sometimes. So when I'm climbing up those hills, I feel really old.
Oh boy. Yeah. Your channel has a wide variety of things. You do kind of the tests of different things. I saw one of your videos where you talk about this quote unquote standard connector. You're trying to find out or explain all the different connectors that we have for antennas. I was wondering, in your latest soda climbs, have you kind of standardized on your gear at this point, or are you still always bringing up something new and giving it a try up there?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's something that is kind of new for my channel. When I first started out, I was just doing soda activations primarily, and I would just talk about whatever I was doing at the time. And every one of those activations, it was the same antenna, the same radio. But yeah, recently, I don't know, it's like last 6 months or so or more, I've started to talk more about different gear. I've tried to bring up different gear and test it and see what it's like, and I've really kind of expanded what I operate with. And it's even the last month or two, it's even gotten more so. I've tried. I'll be trying a new transceiver that from Radioddity, a loaner from them, on my next activation coming up, and so that's going to be pretty cool. The X6100.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah. I've heard a
yeah,
lot about this lately.
yeah. So there's that, and then I have a bunch of stuff from Pactana that I'm going to try out. So it used to be just my own stuff, but now I've got some loaner stuff, and I've purchased some good new gear, and I'm trying it out and doing videos on them. So it's kind
Nice.
of changed a little bit.
What I've noticed too is that you like to bring along folks or
Yeah.
have people that you even interview on your channel, just in general.
Yes, that
Um,
has changed too. Yeah, I mean, I did a little bit of that early on, but the more the channel's grown, I've wanted to bring on guests because it's fun to have different people on and kind of get their perspective on activating, and it's just good company, and people want to come along. So it's yeah, that's something that's changed a little bit too. I have more guest appearances from people. Hmm.
yeah. Any interesting stories about that? Just any cool guests or I don't know, epic failure interviews or anything like that?
Well, it can never be an epic failure. No, I don't know. Every single person I've gone with, I've really enjoyed their company. I would say, well, first of all, I have some friends out in Georgia. I go out to see my son and his family out there once or twice a year, and I've really got to be friends with Doug N4HNH. He has a YouTube channel, in fact. and RBN. It was his last. What is his? Robert, and I can't remember the first part of his call sign, but it's RBN. Anyway, and a couple other people. And every time I go out there, we go and do a summit, and they're just really nice. So there's that. I would say as far as close to an epic failure, but a real challenge and a memorable activation would have been the one with K6. What is it? KRUN. Gaston's call sign. What is it?
KT1RUN.
KT1RUN. Yes. Yep. He and I did Elephant Mountain, which turned out to be an extremely difficult hike. And in fact, we had to go down a different route.
I remember this. It was like you had, was it that it became more technical than either of you were expecting, and you had to basically rock climb the last part of it?
We were scrambling up the last little bit, and we were looking behind us and thinking if we had to actually come down this portion, we would probably fall to our deaths. And so we're like, wow. Gaston says, you know what? I've been up this other way, part of the way. I didn't make it to the top. I know we can make it back. Let's do an alternate plan here. And so we, on the fly, did a different plan and went out a different way. It turned out to be good, but I'm glad we didn't go back the other way. Whew, no way.
Wow. He's a little distance from you. I know he's also Arizona.
Yeah, he's in New River.
So, but yeah.
About an hour away.
Seems like I like his channel a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I get a lot out of his channel. Yeah, he inspires me gear-wise. And that was a thought I had in my head earlier, with all the gear, and you were talking about the new things you're trying out, like you're going to try out a brand new radio this next trip. I've been kind of regressing in my radio operation, not so much HF nowadays. It's funny. I've been moving more toward my tech license area.
Interesting.
So I've been doing everything VHF lately and UHF to some extent, but getting into packet, high-speed data over VHF and experimenting there, and also working in like the 2.4 gigahertz for Arden, that kind of stuff. So I've been doing a lot in that area.
Well, you know what? There is a lot of things you can do with 2 meters, or with with the VHF, UHF. I enjoy it. Sometimes, even with what I do, I will only do a VHF, UHF operation. So, I've done it's really fun doing 2 meter sideband. I've done that several times on a summit. It's fun just being able to pack a very light handheld and not have to worry about all the other gear. And the packet sounds interesting too.
But a lot of my gearbox building type stuff, or not, what did I say? Gearbox? Go box building type stuff and preparations and packs and even battery builds have been centered around deployment with a VHF, UHF type radio. And it's then, our talk about Gaston and his latest videos have been very similar, because he just recently made a pack for doing packet, I think WinLink.
WinLink's awesome.
APRS with his mobile, with his Yaesu mobile.
That guy is so smart. He's a programmer, so he some of the systems that he puts together are just incredible, and I'm jealous.
I can't wait till he comes out with that MCOM tools release that he's been working on. But I've just been inspired in that direction and have been going into purely in the tech realm. And I'm thinking, I'm not exercising any of my extra privileges right now. I'm purely in the tech area. So, for those listening that are like striving to get into HF or get their general ticket or their extra ticket, there is still stuff I'm learning even today that my tech would have sufficed for. I'm fascinated by what you can do with a computer or a Raspberry Pi and a simple HT and a sound card. There are so many things that they're capable of. And in that scenario, it's also cool because it's very easy to pack. Those kind of tools will, it's a mobile rig, can get up to 50 watts or 80 watts in some cases. Small sound card. They got the new Digi-Rig. Do you have one of those? The little tiny cube that is like a signal link that super shrunk down.
No, I haven't.
Sound card and Ed Fong roll-up J-pole. USB cable and you're good. I just supplement with a Denko battery and I'm good to go. I can
gotta have the Denko, man.
Yep.
Gotta have it.
So what do you have planned for your channel? There's so much going on there. I was scrolling through all the videos you've done. You've got like 3,000 subscribers now. And it just keeps going. All the posts.
Yeah, well, so I'm sure you noticed that my playlists are topic driven, and there's I usually have on my main page usually 4 different topic driven playlists. Usually parks on the air, summits on the air, the paddle review, and then the live streams that I've done. But I have other playlists that I just sometimes don't have that are up there. There's one on antenna builds and works, whatever's on my workspace, that type of stuff. Sometimes there's other ones out there, but those are the main ones that people seem to be most interested in. And so more of the same probably in those 4 arenas. As I mentioned before, I'll probably do more of the paddle stuff. I am trying to do more parks on the air activations. People are asking for that. And actually, Jason, Ham Radio 2.0, Jason, suggested that I do more. I'm still trying to I guess, get my feet under me with that one because it's different than Summits on the Air. And I'm trying to figure out what people like as far as parks on the air activations. It's probably not going to be my a cup of tea to just go and record a whole bunch of QSOs and then put that up there. Although that was my last activation. I've really got to do something to make it more interesting than that. And so I'm still trying to figure that out. I do have a lot of people wanting to see more sideband on parks on the air, especially. So I'll probably try to accommodate that a little bit. And so let's see what else. So more reviews probably than I have in the past. And then also I'm thinking about doing a SOTA introductory video playlist. So K7ATN up in the Pacific Northwest has asked that I consider making some videos for people who are getting into SOTA. And we know Chris N1CLC, he has like the 360, has, I don't know, there's 6 videos or something like that on that very topic. And so those are still good and applicable, but I think I might go a little bit further in depth and also maybe respond to some questions and stuff like that. So that may be a new playlist that comes out shortly. And then also,
I got a great name for that.
What's that?
Summits on the Air Crash Course.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, Crash Course has kind of been taken, but maybe.
No, that sounds good. I learned by watching you all. I learned by watching you all, and so, when I did my first SOTA with Rex. By then, I had watched all of you do it so many times that I just kind of surmised what I needed. I needed a battery and a light rig, and I ended up bringing my my mag loop instead of a wire antenna.
I've seen that done before.
The precise RF mag loop is supposed to be for SOTA. It's supposed to be a low elevation. You set up on a mini tripod type thing. And it's supposed to perform just as well. Well, it didn't because Rex got like 20 contacts and I got like 5. So,
hey, you activated it though.
I activated, but it was hard, and we traded off bands. So it's not like the bands were bad.
It was the bottom of the sun cycle though, right?
Yeah, I'll blame that.
Yeah, there you go.
But I forgot where I was going with that. I just saying that. Yeah, it would have been nice if I could have just referenced a playlist and just said, okay, I want to do this, but I don't know the first thing to do. And instead of spending 9 months watching all your videos, all the different SOTA activators videos and kind of coming to a conclusion myself, it would have been nice to just see a quick playlist of what I needed to get ready, the types of safety and the dangers of doing it, and just understanding the different types of gear that I would need to bring so that I wouldn't have made the same mistakes that I did that first time.
So that's what this playlist will be. It'll be a shorter videos, maybe 15 minutes or less for each one, just on just 1 or 2 topics. And we'll see how that goes. I may never come to fruition, but that's something I'm thinking about adding. And then the other thing is another live stream. Believe it or not, I just keep piling on myself, but I want to keep the All Portable Discussion Zone live stream. But I was thinking about adding another one, a different show, for a couple of reasons. There's I just think it'd be cool to just have some live streams just where I pop up and I just say, hey, I've been thinking about this, and the people who are watching just kind of get some feedback, just on specific topics without any guests, just kind of impromptu, that type of thing. And then also the a lot of viewers are asking for more CW. And so I don't know. Somehow I need to kind of focus on that. It seems like people are asking for more of everything, though, right?
Yeah. Well, there's always an area that someone is. I want to see more of that. I would love to see all three of those ideas, just expand.
But where's the time, right?
You should do Mailbag Tuesdays.
Yeah, to supplement to Mike's Mailbag Monday, right?
Oh wait, there's another one. I was just recommending that. I'm just kidding.
K8MRD has
K8MRD has Mailbag Mondays, and I love that. I love that format.
Me too.
It's kind of like the same format of the HRCC podcast, except it's not 5 hours long, right?
yeah, it doesn't. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
So,
anyway, that's there's so many ideas I have, but we'll see what happens. Just stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah, a lot in plan. Well, like I say, you have a great momentum going. It's the same concept as what killed my podcast for a little bit here. My momentum stopped when I went on vacation. Hopefully get the ball rolling again, but I hope that you do get these things going. That would be great.
Yeah.
I'll be there at the premieres.
Good.
So you have all these things coming up, or at least in planning. Where do you want to see things on your channel, or even in just general your social ham projects in 2 years' time? What do you want to see things like?
Honestly, I'm pretty happy with where my channel is right now. As far as that goes. Recently, I was a guest on Ham Radio Live. I don't know if you know
Yes.
Larry from Ham Radio Live, but I really admire Larry and his attitude about his channel. Like him, I don't really focus on the channel metrics a bunch. I just want my channel to be a place where people can come and feel encouraged and inspired to do more with the hobby. And so obviously more subscribers means more influence, right? So I mean, it would be good in that regard, but I'm not really focusing on the subscribers as much as I'm focusing on helping many people as I can. So in 2 years, I'm just hoping that the channel is more influential as a place to go for people who want to get involved in the hobby and find information. I hope I don't reach burnout by then.
Yeah, I hope you never burn out. I mean, it seems like you found the good mix where you kind of let yourself off the hook, right? You don't really pressure yourself for numbers or for a production schedule or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not my full-time job.
You just put things out as they inspire you, or if you're very active outdoors, so it's always an opportunity to turn on that camera and show people what's going on and what you're doing. And then there's always something new in the world of even Morse code. There's always something new. Could inspire someone to, pick up this certain paddle and operate more. So there's a lot of stuff there too. So I think you have a good formula.
Yeah, like a lot of people say with other areas of their lives, it's I've learned and benefited more maybe than anybody else in this channel. The number of people that I've interacted with and the things that I've learned is just amazing. I can't believe where I've come in the last year and a half, not from the channel perspective, but my own personal knowledge and attitude about ham radio. And I have some very firm convictions now about things like Larry, back to him real quick. He's just really a contagious guy as far as being positive and upbeat. And I just want to be that way. I feel like very strongly that my channel should be a positive channel and no negativity, and just welcome everybody and do what I can to help. So,
yeah. A thought just came in my mind. If you were very negative and politicized, maybe you would have like 1 million subscribers right now, right?
I might, maybe.
But that's not the goal, is it?
It is not.
So are there any like personal projects you have going on, like builds or antennas or
Yeah,
off
I do
grid
actually.
projects? What do you got
Yeah.
going?
Well, this is right up your alley, maybe. I am working on a solar system installation,
Oh,
and
nice.
it's not anything grandiose or
My
anything like that. But
favorite topic.
I know, isn't it? I am. This Saturday, in fact, it's all going to be put together. So it's really cool what's happened as far as my whole goal right now is to just be able to power my rig, my home equipment, and then maybe a fridge and a light and a fan or something like that. Not too much, right? And I don't
Mhm.
want it to go into all the whole rigmarole of wiring it up in the house and all that. It's very simple. So I have two 250-watt panels right now, and I can expand to four later. But I just got two, and it's amazing here in Arizona. I got the first panel for $25 and the second one for 50 used. So
Wow.
I'm in $75 for the panels, and then
For
I won't
500
mention.
watts of panels?
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah, and then I have four 100 amp hour batteries, and I spent $20 for those.
What?
I
Where'd
know,
you get
right?
those?
So I'll tell you, I can't reveal the whole thing here, but
Okay.
what I
Okay.
will tell you is that a friend of mine who had connections with a friend of his has connections with a data center, and the data center swaps out their batteries before end of life because they can't afford for them to die, right? So these batteries that I have, the battery that I have, the four that I have are 50, they're supposed to last 15 years or so,
Mm-hmm.
but the data center swaps them out about 7.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have four batteries that are from a data center that they just gave my friend. And he had a whole pallet of them. He had like
So still
150,
a
I think.
lot of good life to them.
Still probably another 5 to 7 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's that. So that's the battery bank. And so I have a charge controller for, I think I got a nice one. I think I paid 200 for it.
Oh wow.
So it's
Yeah.
pretty nice one. And then I'm deferring on the what do you call it, the DC to AC, what do they call those?
The
Why can't I,
inverter.
the inverter? Yes.
Yeah.
I have one in my to buy cart for Amazon for about 350. But I'll buy that a little later. But
How many watts are you looking at there?
it goes all for the inverter.
Yes.
I can't remember. Actually, I'd have to bring it up, but enough to do what I want to do. I know that I went through all
Mm-hmm.
the numbers and stuff like that. So, but Saturday I'm going to take down my antennas and before it gets too hot, and do the repairs on those. I'm going to replace the coax in them, and when I run the coax back through into my house, I'm going to also run the cable for from the cell phone, the solar panels, and get those in here and get everything hooked up all at once. So I'm kind of redoing my antennas and putting the solar in. And it's, again, really simple. I'm not even going to tie down the solar panels to my roof. I'm just going to lay them on the roof because
Yeah.
people have said that they just sit, even with high winds, they just sit there just fine. So,
Yeah. Well, at 250 watt panels, those will be heavy enough that basically your house would get blown away if there was enough wind to move those panels, right?
yeah. So I have that. I don't know exactly how much wattage we're going to get in the end, but with those four batteries, that's what, 400 amp hours.
Yeah, that's
plus
sizable.
plus the two solar panels.
So
And
that's you're doing that in a 12 volt
Yep.
setup. So
Yep.
you're going to have about 5 kilowatts there, kilowatt
Yeah.
hours. I mean, of stored up energy.
So it won't be too bad. Yep. And so all that for $300 at the moment. So it's not bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah. When
very
I
lucky.
was thinking about building my WinLink gateway, I already had a shack that was powered by the sun. So, it just depended on how frequently I was using my radio, which at that time was not that often. So I had all this extra energy. And so when I was thinking about the WinLink gateway, which would be 24/7 on, just ready to accept connections from the valley, it added another idle 0.5 amps of draw from this It's a small 100 amp hour setup, and it's powered by a single panel. But this setup also powers my freezer, my 12 volt DC freezer. So if there's ever
as well,
so if there's ever any kind of extended outage, at least I still have my chicken nuggets.
Right? That's right. Well, I mean, and the ability to charge your cell phone and whatever else, it's. I feel really blessed that I have the opportunity to have this solar system put in, even though it's a humble system. It just gives me some peace of mind because we don't know what direction the world's going in, and it's nice to have. So
here's the big question, because you're in Arizona. Is this system capable of powering an air conditioner?
It is not. No. You would need probably, you need a lot. You'd probably need 10 or more batteries probably.
Well, I mean, that's for a whole house.
You're talking like a wall system?
Just like a portable.
Yeah, maybe. It's possible, I suppose. I probably have to put another couple batteries and another couple of solar panels, I would think.
I remember one time you mentioned, either in Slack or somewhere, that you had a power outage during the day in Arizona. And I was like, or at night. And I was like, man, that's got to be uncomfortable.
Well, it was during the day too, but at night, remember, it doesn't cool down to in the midsummer, it doesn't cool down to below 100 degrees until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So we're above 100 degrees in the afternoon easily. And so, I was like saying that I wanted at least a little, like a little fan to blow some air and circulate. And that'll easily do that. And maybe more. Yeah.
I had an outage here and it kind of stressed me out. I was thinking, was it No, it wasn't a power outage. It was our AC busted when it started to get hot in 2021, right in the beginning of summer. And I was like, oh my gosh. And you know how it was during that time. It was very hard to get any kind of like service for anything. Fence blew down. You'd be waiting months to get a new fence up. AC, I didn't know what would happen, how long it would take before an AC tech could come out here and just take a look at what the problem was. And so I just panic bought a portable AC unit, and I would figure some way to get that huge vent hose to my window, and at least it would cool my room, right? There was no one else in the house during the day. I work from home, so it's like it would just be I needed to cool my room during that time. And then right after I did that, I called our favorite HVAC folks, and they said, "Oh yeah, we could be there this morning." And I was like, "Oh, okay, so I actually don't need this item."
But at least you had it. That's cool.
But yeah, it just, when things like that happen, especially with weather that is extremely uncomfortable, it just makes you think twice. I think Tom in 3WS is also, he just went through something harsh with his snowstorm recently out there in the East Coast. And now he's been prompted to build out a whole solar power setup because his generator was being tested during that extended outage.
But it's expensive, isn't it?
Oh,
$300 is unheard of. Each battery is around $700, $800, $900, right? So that's the $4,000 in the batteries is what I have. For $5, I have, or for $20, I got $4,000 worth of batteries.
Yes.
So and then the panels, it's just I think a whole setup would be close to $5,000-$6,000, right?
Yes, if you were building that all newly bought stuff.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's the big thing. I also have that, what is it? The USDX 5-bander rig.
A lot of people have been talking about this lately. I saw you and Dan chatting about that too, right?
I don't have it in my hand, but I have it ordered, and that's coming up. I want to build that and try it in the field. That'll be fun.
Well, okay. So I know very little about this, and I'm pretty sure most of my audience as well. Tell us about this rig. What's special about it? Why is everyone buying it? I think Ham Radio 2.0 said that he wanted to do a group buy of this as well. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was a part of, was his group buy. Well, to be perfectly honest, if Ham Radio 2.0 Jason says, this is important, we want to get this, then I usually say, well, he knows what he's talking about. So partly it was just influential, and he was influential in me ordering it, but it is very hard to come by. They usually only release every so often. It's a transceiver that was developed by a couple of guys. Is Guido PE1NNZ and Manuel DL2MAN. They came up with this transceiver, and they kind of have an agreement with like 3 different distributors. I got mine through RO Waves, I think it's called, but it's a 5-watt, 5-band transceiver. I think the special thing about it is, if I read correctly, it's a sideband as well as CW. It's multi-band.
Okay.
I mean, sorry, multi-mode.
Multi-mode, yeah.
Which most of the time, in fact, I don't really know how. I rarely see, if ever, that is a multi-mode that you can do. QRP transceiver. So I think that's the special part about. Plus just how hard it is to get.
So is it a radio that you buy? Is it an appliance, or is it a kit?
You can either option. So you can buy it.
You can actually buy it as a kit as well. Okay.
I think most people are buying the kit and putting it together because it's made to, like, all the SMD parts are already soldered on. So it's made to be a kit for like a beginner or an intermediate. So it's not that hard to do. You can buy it new, already assembled. And then, like Adam, he bought one, but he just bought the board. He didn't buy the enclosure because he has a new fancy
it's 3D printing
3D printer. So
yes.
he's like, who needs an enclosure?
He's going to make this fancy one.
Yeah,
he's going to design it himself in Fusion 360 or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Bust out his own case and sell it.
Exactly. That guy's crazy good.
So, what are the 5 bands? 40 through 10.
They said it's going to be 40, 30, 20, 60, and 80 right now.
Oh, okay. So the low bands.
Yeah. Yep. But I said that I read that they were going to come out with in the future one that had 15, 17, and maybe one other mixed in there, and drop some other ones. I can't quite remember. Sorry, but it will have some of the higher bands in the future. So, but right now it's just those.
I saw chatter about it. I've seen people in live stream chats also mention it, but I have not even Googled it. So I knew nothing about this. I just assumed it was another kit. And I have a stack of kits right here beside me that need my attention. So I was not going to tempt myself with another radio or kit.
You're a better man than me, because I have a QCX Mini still needs to be built, and a BitX that still needs to be built.
I have a QCX Mini that I even posted about it, like, I would say about 6 months ago. I posted about it. Maybe after that. No, yeah, it was maybe November or October. And it's just, I don't know. I was on a kit building frenzy for a few months after Pacificon, and then it just stopped again, the momentum thing. And then I think it's because the QCX Mini was so involved, it had like this funky whine that you had to do for the main toroid. And I was just like, I got to do this right. I got to take my time with it. And then that just was enough to stop me. And
there's a guy who'll do them for you, though. You can pay him to do them for you.
Who's that?
I'm
not gonna pay anyone to do it, but I'm curious who would do that.
There's a guy that actually has a business that does that, and I can't remember. Maybe I'll send you the link and you put it in the show notes or something.
I thought you were just gonna mention like Adam.
No, this guy he does it. He'll charge you, and he'll wind your toroids for you, and it's not the smoking ape either.
Okay, yeah. Well, he just did a video on toroids, toroids as he calls them. I just had a thought too, Pacificon. So I went to that. That's like our local Hamfest here out in the West Coast. It's not that popular. Not many folks were out there, but I did meet Ham Radio Dude and Chuck, KK6USY. And I vaguely recall seeing pictures of you with the YouTubers bunch. Which meetup was that? What Hamfest was that?
Let's see. I haven't been to a Hamfest with them. I actually, the dude, I've actually been with him on an activation. We did a soda activation together. But separate from that, we had I think it was in August, we had a YouTubers meetup or a YouTubers camp out.
That's maybe what I'm thinking about.
It was in California, over by Reno. Well, it was south of Reno.
Wasn't it Yosemite? Did you guys go to Yosemite?
Yeah, we were in Yosemite and in that area. Lee Vining area is where we were camping. And yeah, we had Chuck was there, and Tank Radio, and Ham Radio 2.0, and yeah, there was quite a number. It was something that Adam put together. He planned it all, and then he brought all the food, and then he made us huge sandwiches that were like, I don't know, 5 inches thick. That we had to lug up it was anyway. He's an amazing sandwich maker. I'll tell you what.
Oh wow.
He kept us very full. So it was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So are you planning to go to any ham fests or meetups?
Yeah. In fact, so it's my turn to plan the YouTubers camp out. We're doing a camp out coming up in a few months here in Grand Canyon. We're going to camp in the Grand Canyon and then do a kind of a tour of northern Arizona and do a bunch of poda and soda. That's going to be around the weekend of the get out on the Parks on the Air, whatever it is. What's that program called? Get your park, whatever it is. People who are listening know what it is. It's get your parks on the air, I guess I'll call it, but it's something similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that coming up. But then also I'm going to, for the first time, I'm going to go to Dayton or to Xenia. And
okay. Yeah.
Go there and see what that's all about. So I'm going to try to just stick to one ham fest a year and one meetup a year. So that, because they're expensive. So yep. But those two are what's on tap for this year.
Does it, to camp in the Grand Canyon, does it take a permit? Do you need a permit for that?
No, you just need to reserve your campsite. And then of course you need the entrance fee. You have to pay your entrance fee, but no permits are required. No.
Cool, man. That's really cool.
It should be a good time. Yeah.
You'll be at the bottom of the canyon. You guys going to hike down?
No, I don't think we're going to do that.
Okay.
I mean, if people want to, they can, but we got the camp up on the South Rim campsites, and it will be in the park. So we just operate POTA all day and night if we want, and then do some day trips, and we'll be there, and people can do the touristy thing, and there's plenty of time to hike down if they want, but I don't think anybody's going to want to do that. It's going to be in the summer. It's going to be too hot for them to do that.
Yeah.
Because a little known fact, the bottom of the Grand Canyon is the same temperature as Phoenix. So in the summer, if it's 110 in Phoenix, it's going to be 110 at the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
So
yeah, and when you're going to the Grand Canyon, you get the colder weather, like especially if you go to like Flagstaff.
Oh yeah.
And stuff like that. It just, you get this false sense of, oh, the weather's fine out here, and then you head down to the Grand Canyon or to Phoenix itself, and you're just like, okay, this is Arizona. This is what I expected.
Yeah, it's just flaming hot. Yep.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. When you were in Lee Vining area, did you do a soda there, or was?
Oh yeah.
Which mountains did you do?
We did a bunch of them. I actually can't remember all of them, but I can remember the one was Gaylord Peak. That was the one that was right just inside of Yosemite. I did that one with N1CLC and is it K6 TNT, I think, Javi. But we kind of separated from the rest of the group, and we did that, and then they went and did some other stuff. But I think we did a total of 3 summits, soda summits, and like 5 parks on that trip.
Okay.
Yeah, and one or two of them were drive ups, so it was
because there's a mountain there around the Lee Vining area in California that's dear to me. It has an indelible mark on me. It's Mount Dana.
Oh yeah, Mount Dana.
Have you ever been on that mountain?
No, N1CLC. Chris has done that one, and we were talking about doing that one, but we didn't.
Okay.
We didn't do that one. No, it's that one's a bear.
That's a 13,000 foot peak. And I've said this in previous episodes. I've done a beginner's mountaineering course many years ago and got altitude sickness on that climb. And so it was supposed to be like a 4 or 5 hour beginner's mountaineering course that turned into a 14-hour trip because of me and my delirious slow self trying to get up and down that mountain. And so, there's a very special place in my heart for that mountain. And if I ever see a video of someone activating that mountain, I will be totally intent in just trying to map out all the landmarks that I remember in my slow climb of that mountain.
Chris recorded his ascent of Mount Dana.
Yeah.
So
there's we did this. we went this roundabout way because there is a way you can walk up there, but we went the other way because it was a mountaineering course where we had to use ice axes and ropes and all that kind of stuff to prevent from sliding down off of the glacier.
Yeah, that's crazy. That summit, it's right across the road from the one we did. The Galar Peak and Mount Dana are probably, I don't know, a couple miles from each other.
Mm-hmm.
They're just across the road from each other. Yeah, so I was looking at that the whole time thinking, you did that one, Chris? Oh, wow. But you did it from the difficult side, huh?
Yeah, we went up the side that tests your skills, and then we walked down the other side, which is probably the path that most people take.
Right.
And it would just be a hike. But either way, I mean, that's why once I cross the 10,000 foot mark, I get pretty wary of what's going on because I'm like, am I going to get altitude sickness again? I'm a sea level dweller, so I'm going to be.
I think it's more of hereditary. My wife, she gets altitude sickness every time we go above 10,000 as well.
Yeah, there's something about that elevation because as soon as we were heading back down, as soon as I crossed the 10,000 mark, I started to feel better, and where I could walk normal again. But that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
So just final thoughts. This is more of a general question I had for you. I mean, what are your thoughts right now on the state of ham radio today?
Yeah, well, I would say we are in the best time we've ever been in for ham radio. And I know people be out there disagreeing with me on that. But I mean, if you think about all the things that we have that we didn't in the past and just how far we've come, there is more to do in the hobby. There's more to tinker with. There's more capabilities. There's a broader spectrum that would interest more people. And it's just, I don't know. It's just a great time to be in the hobby. I love it. I mean, we didn't have soda and POTA back then. I mean, you had people that did mountaintops and stuff like that, but it wasn't as big a thing. And, we didn't have little, radios that you could hold in your hands, a deck of cards. And we didn't have WinLink and just the vast number of things that are out there that we didn't have that we do now is such an exciting thing. You tinker with them all and learn so much. It's a good time to be in ham radio, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have such a huge number of people that we can ask questions to now too. It's, yes. I know that I like to bag on social media and pretty much try to stay disconnected from it myself, despite my Twitter account. My Twitter account's very purposeful. I'll say that, but I try to avoid social media altogether. But I'd say a positive thing in ham radio that has come out of that lately is just the ability to connect with so many other hams and learn so much more. I had no one in the 90s and the early 2000s. I would run into hams here and there, and they were going through the same struggles as I was. They were like, well, I don't even know what repeaters are close by. And that was the extent of it, that there was no digital comms among my sphere of hams. There was no concept of doing worldwide communications. Most of my peers were also technicians, so they didn't have the fancy radios. So I had no, and every time I went to an HRO, I was just daunted by the desktop HF radios. Like I remember this one radio. It's called the Earth Station. I forget who made it. I think it was by ICOM or maybe Yaesu. But I saw one of those at an HRO, and it was just sheer number of knobs and buttons and displays. And I was just like, I have no idea what this even does.
Like being in the cockpit of an airplane, right?
Yeah, I'm a ham, and I have no idea what any of this does. I don't even know what that number means, and I'm pretty sure it was set to like 20 meters in retrospect. But I was like, what does that even mean? I was completely lost. Unfortunately, back then, the salespeople at HRO were not, very personable. So I just didn't feel like I had any venue of learning or any way of asking folks. And so it was very difficult. And so I agree with you. Nowadays, man, all you need to do is like jump into any of the number of Discords or Slack or YouTube live streams. And at the same time, everyone is discovering things as they come out, and they're trying out new things. And then you got folks like Adam or like N6ARA who are making things, right? They're creating these new ways of doing things and miniaturizing things that we thought we already figured out. And I just get blown away every time I load up Twitter and I'm like, what? That exists now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I probably am on social media a little bit more than I should, but I kind of have to, just always questions and always new things out there. Like you said, I got to keep up on it. So I probably hit probably 5 different Discord channels or whatever they are. And then 2 different Slacks, and then Twitter, and then the other accounts, not so much. Facebook a little bit, but yeah, it's, and everything has its own little flavor, and I learned something new from different things. And yeah, it's just so much information out there. It's almost too much. But if you want to learn something, it's out there and you can figure it out.
Yep. And I never thought that I would actually be contributing to that. I thought I would just be asking all the questions all the time.
Yeah, well, you are. Yeah, the ham radio. This podcast. Then my circle of people that I interact with love this podcast and I enjoy it. And of course, they wish that you came out with more than you have recently. But you know what? Yeah. I don't fault you at all. But it is great, and I hope you continue with it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's folks that are definitely interested. So they're interested in being on the show. I mean, not just interested in the podcast overall. And so things will happen in 2022. It's just, it's kind of like Denko batteries. I just can't commit to a actual schedule of when they will be delivered.
And you do you, man. That's perfectly fine. Yep.
Sorry, everyone. All right. Well, that's, we're over an hour now. So is there anything else you want to say or plug or give advice about before we close here?
I would say, I think we've pretty much covered most everything. I would just say get out there and try stuff and just get involved somehow in ham radio. If you're struggling, find somebody who can be a mentor, either through social media, YouTube, or even at a physical club. But I think that's the real key to making your experience in the hobby meaningful, is to have somebody, whether it's a virtual person or not, or a person through virtual means or not, I would say just don't get discouraged and find your niche. There's got to be something there for you. Whatever sparked your interest to get involved to begin with in ham radio, I think just kind of pursue that and take it down the rabbit holes that it takes you and see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been finding a lot of joy and satisfaction from live in-person meetups lately. And I think that's a side effect of being locked down for so long. But yeah, I was ready to throw in the towel when it came to live meetings. But now I make the effort. I drive the, half hour, 1 hour away to find the groups that are having meetings. And I found that it's been very enriching and a lot to share. And there's just something about it that's, I don't know, it's hard to describe. Just being in the presence of another person and talking about a common interest like ham radio. And
yeah, there's some disconnect, some interactive disconnect when you're on like some sort of virtual meeting. Being in person, there's just something there that is missing otherwise. And I agree. I don't do a lot of in-person meetings, but the clubs, I attend every once in a while. But I like meetups for lunch and smaller groups. I really enjoy getting together with people.
It also softens our outlook. I personally think, this is me getting philosophical now, but I think it's a lot easier to get polarized and emotional when it's in front of a screen. And, when you're reading things, it's a very filtered and distilled version of what's going on. And when you actually just get to see the person, like there are folks that I would have a not so good impression about from their online persona, but when seeing them in person, it would be it would be like a 180-degree turn. And I'd be like, well, this person's just trying just like me. There's no difference here, really. It's just we have our opinions, but this is a flesh and blood person who is pursuing their hobby in the happiest way they can. And so it just, like I said, it softens my outlook by being around people.
Yeah. And it makes things more positive. That's the thing I always try to promote too. Last comment is keep it positive. There's so many things that we experience in life that have a negative influence on us. We don't want to be a contributor to somebody's all the negativity that's out there. Let's try to be positive and make a change in or help somebody to at least have some positive experiences in their lives. So just keep it positive, and you never know how it might affect another person.
Yes, exactly. Well, Charlie, it's been great talking with you. Thanks so much for being on the show again. Resurrecting, you're basically jump-starting my podcast again, just as you did a year and a half ago.
I'm glad to be here, man.
And good luck on your soda. Is that tomorrow that you're doing it?
Tomorrow, yep.
Good luck with the new rig, and looking forward to the videos as they come. We'll be in contact on Slack. But thank you so much for being on. It's great talking with you.
Thanks. It's been a pleasure. Talk to you later.
All right. I'll say 7-3. I'll catch you later. You've been listening to Hamdom Thoughts by 8060M. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you again next time.